Hello there, mate. How's it going? And welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. As always, I do hope you're doing well. I really do hope that full and honest, authentic disclosure, a little bit ropey today. Didn't properly watch the game last night, so I watched a full replay back this morning / afternoon, 12:30 at time of recording. They've just blown for full time for Hull City 0, Chelsea 4. Could have been more goals for the Chelsea, and indeed, maybe one or two could have been squeezed in from Hull as well. In what was very difficult conditions, they had a late flurry, of course, at the end of the game, when, of course, the game was won by Chelsea. Lots of talking points, I think. Very, very interesting. Pedro Neto playing as a number 10. Pedro Neto, a player that's been spoken about a lot lately in the Chelsea fan base for perhaps not making good final action decisions, and here he is. Granted, it's against Hull, a championship team, but it is away from home. They are doing good in the championship, and these games can often represent banana skins. Not tonight, not for Pedro Neto, who executed and got his first career senior hat-trick, which is great for him. It's great for the, momentum, positivity, a little bit of confidence in front of goal again. And Liam Delap with a hat-trick of assists. Again, you might laugh and go, haha, found his level. In fact, he used to play for Hull, being coached by Liam Rosenior as well. But yes, this can only be beneficial. Quite the confidence boost. We saw a start at 90 minutes from Mamadou Sarr, who played very, very well. We'll look at the SofaScore ratings. He was the second highest rated Chelsea player, only behind hat-trick hero Pedro Neto. And yeah, bro, apart from some weird moments, Rob Sanchez running out at the end, some frustrating decisions from Alejandro Garnacho, who seemed to not jump on the confidence boost hype train that both Pedro Neto and Liam Delap were benefiting off. Dare I say, even Estevao scored a nice goal. Probably should have scored another goal early doors, though, when he rounded the keeper. But it was just the tonic, this game, man. And yeah, mission accomplished. It was raining, it was snowing, it was windy, the pitch looked pretty darn gnarly, and exam passed with some positive feelings along the way. I haven't actually watched the post-match press conference from Liam Rosenior, so if he said anything sensational and I've missed that, please do let me know in the comment section below. But, despite me being hanging out my derriere, it's a beautiful day over here in the kingdom. You can probably see from the window, the sun is shining, the light is coming in, and I'm going to go get some fresh air after I talk to you about football and heal my soul and probably rein in the drinking a little bit. I've just been very stressed recently, so I've been drinking. I'm an honest guy, guys. I have no secrets. So, I need to sort of rein it in a little bit. But I'm delighted with the Chelsea win, and we are going to reflect on that. My friends, cheers for joining me. If you're watching on the YouTube, you're almost welcome, you OG members of the GOAT Gang. If you're yet to subscribe, but you think you might like it, I'd urge you to do it. And should you subscribe, I'm not sure it's going to have, I've got it in me, guys, but should you subscribe, you should hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Yeah. Yep, no juice. Alright, so we're going to get into it. Yeah, by the way, on podcast platforms, simply search Football Therapy Podcast. And if you want to continue helping your brother out, then why not follow 5-star on the Spotify. That's nice of you. And we do want to get 1,000 5-star ratings by the end of the season, which I think is totally doable. Let's have a look then. It's a back three system from Hull. They have a couple of players out. A little bit of rotation, but as you know, they still were diligent for the most of the first half, keeping Chelsea out, and of course they enjoyed a late flurry after some Chelsea changes. Rob Sanchez between the sticks, who was broadly good. He was sort of beaten once when the post was hit, that youngster towards the end of the game. He had a weird moment where he decided to fly out of the goal and get nowhere near the ball, which is very concerning. He does not need to be doing that. Captain Reece James, who's been battling an illness, I think, returned for this game at right back. in the absence of Mark Cucurella, whose hamstrings are being scanned, I believe. He went into left back, and then you had Wes Fofana and Mamadou Sarr, which I was very interested and keen to see. I said Mamadou Sarr as a left centre back instead of Trev. Right-footed, but very good with his left foot as well. Probably has a better left foot than Trevo Chalobah. He's a bit of a Mark Guehi in that sense. Played really, really well. As you can see, that left centre-back role there, for those of you watching the video, his heat map, a very, very tasty 8.5 rating. By far, it's the second highest behind Pedro Neto's 9.4 hat-trick hero rating. But, 8.5 is very much usually a worthy rating of player of the match. Wes getting a healthy 7.6, and the fullbacks perhaps not having the greatest day out. Reece, now and again, made some peculiar decisions, like trying to shepherd the ball out when it was not the right thing to do. Maybe just knocking off some rust. The beautiful budding partnership of the Kai Santos double pivot, my fave. It did seem like the centre-backs were split quite a lot, and Caicedo was dropping in. So let's look at the Wes like that. Yeah, a lot, quite split centre-backs. Caicedo, well, very central there. But you see either Caicedo or Santos. Santos looked like he was sort of doing more of the running in terms of covering more area, more centralised from Caicedo. Just to show you there, more like tighter in the middle from Caicedo. Santos covering more of a broader area, you'd have to say. And kind of allows to make a sort of de facto back three often, especially we saw less of Rob Sanchez stepping out into the back line to be part of the defence, and more of perhaps Caicedo filling in the void from the split two centre-backs. Now, Estevão played right wing, sometimes went in the middle, kind of doing what we see, what we would like to eventually see with him and Palmer, sort of right wing, central, swapping, kind of Pedro Neto. But look at that. Look at the heat map of Pedro Neto. We have seen heat maps from Pedro Neto before where he's very much just, sort of chalk on his boots, touchline, winger. Look at his heat map there. Number 10. Make no bones about it. This was a 4-2-3-1 with a Pedro Neto as a number 10, and he scored a hat-trick. Now, it is against Hull. It is in the cup. But it wasn't tough conditions away from home, and he stepped up, took responsibility after, perhaps moments when he's not been playing so great. So it's really, really positive, I think. I mean, look, Estevão will get good goals. For me, the main, and Estevão will get good goals in terms of that he will be consistently just getting better and better. Kai Santos pivot I really like. For me, Wesley, for me, has been very good for a while. Sanchez. The takeaways are three players. Of course, it was nice to see the youngsters come off the bench. We can talk about them a little bit. But it's Mamadou Sarr playing 90 minutes, looking really, really good. Pedro Neto playing as a number 10 for the first time. Bearing in mind he's played right wing, left wing, and striker. Now he's quite literally played in every front four position for Chelsea in the last sort of 12 months. And Liam Delap with a hat-trick of assists. We'll speak about him a little bit more generally, of course, the ex-Hull striker. Just yesterday, I was speaking about him, and of course he's been getting a lot of criticism from Chelsea fans, and I've been getting a lot of stick trying to defend him a lot of the time, saying that he is a really, not rare, because you get strikers like that all over the gaff, but those kind of profiled centre forwards, there's a reason why a lot of clubs want them, because of the way they can occupy defenders, hold up play, and even if they're not bagging in goals themselves, what he did for Pedro Neto today, and obviously setting up Estevão as well. Cole Palmer will be like training with him tomorrow or today or whenever they're in training and be like, yeah, that's what I want. When you're on the pitch with me, obviously Palmer's cooking with Joao Pedro at the moment, but you would have seen that kind of like intuition from Delap, those ideas, that when he could have taken a shot, he did that cut back to Estevão. Do that, be my Olivier Giroud to my Eden Hazard. You remember how Hazard used to love playing with Giroud? And Giroud wasn't really Chelsea's starting striker, really, towards the different periods. So it's a hugely positive moment for Delap, and he's getting a lot of praise on social media right now. So in terms of how the game went down, as you can see the attacking momentum meter here on the left of the screen, it was dominant with Chelsea all throughout, apart from that perhaps late flurry right at the end where we were 4-0 up, where some changes were made, and, they had a little crack, basically, and trying to score a goal, which they weren't able to. And they started the game, like the opening few minutes, quite well as well, before Chelsea had settled into the snowy, rainy, muddy pitch of the Hull Stadium. Let's have a look at statistics. It's probably worth mentioning. It's probably 76% possession. It's going to be a game of 2 halves, isn't it? So, first half, only 1 big chance created, which isn't a crazy amount, you must say. Second half, only 1 big chance created in both halves. That's pretty crazy. So only a big chance per half, but we did generate 2.95 XG in the game in total, which is a nice juicy XG, what you'd expect. Especially, even though it's even though it's against Hull, it's away from home, rotated side. You want to sort of be looking at 3 XG. And limiting them to sort of 0.5 is totally acceptable. But ultimately scoring 4 goals as well. This is what you want. You want elite finishing from Chelsea. So from a 2.95 XG, not even, basically 3, but not quite, to score 4 goals from that. That's what you want. You want these guys to say we are world-class players or world-class talents getting better, and give us these kind of chance value, and we will score goals from it. So very, very pleased indeed. Of course, very dominant on the ball, but that was always to be expected. We did afford them 10 shots, though. I reckon probably a lot of them came in the end. 5 apiece. 5 apiece. So they did, there were moments, and Chelsea had to concentrate. They had to respect Hull, despite winning and scoring goals. They had to understand that this could change if you have a silly moment, let them score, and you don't want that to happen, basically. And we prevented that from happening. So 5 substitutions made by the Chelsea head coach, Liam Rosenior. Vice captain came on for Enzo Fernandez. Reece James, should I say. Vice captain for the captain. Nice little exchange on the touchline between Reece and Enzo there. Champong came on for Caicedo. So this was the same time, obviously, which means that Champong replaces Reece. Enzo replaces Caicedo. Probably see Santos, drop a bit deeper. Straight swap with Tosin for Wesley. This is the kind of stuff you want to see with Tosin, I think, personally. See the game out, be a bit sensible. Tosin's apparently really important to the group. Socially, but for me, he's not a starting Chelsea centre-back at the moment. Really, from now on, he can come off the bench in games that are already won, or, with the greatest of respect for Tosin, where we've seen him actually do good performances for Chelsea, where things are right now, and, between Wesley, Mamadou, Trevo, even Josh Champong playing at centre-back. I know he had a difficult time against Leeds, but I'd rather put stock into him developmentally than be playing Tosin at the moment. Of course, Jesse Derry, him and Shim both came on. They've been both tearing it up at under 21 level, despite just being, quite young teenagers. He's very, very good, Derry. I think we got him from Crystal Palace, didn't we, when he was 15? I did see him when I went to go watch the under 21s of Goldberg at the beginning of the season, when Shim scored a hat-trick. Jesse looks very exciting as a player. Very dynamic, coming on for Esteval and getting, a good few minutes there, coming on the 77th minute. So obviously Liam Rosenior keeping a close eye on him, seeing how good he has been developmentally, and McFarlane will be speaking about him as well, because now he's on his coaching staff, who will be giving all the deets about the really exciting young players. So Mamadou Sarr, huge tick. Perfect opportunity to get 90 minutes. He got a yellow card. He sat on relatively quite comfortably, put in an excellent performance. To get an 8.5 rating on this serve score was pretty darn strong. 7 defensive contributions, 1 out of 1 tackle. So he tried one, made one, executed it, won it. 4 clearances, 2 blocked shots, 6 recoveries. Won the majority of his aerial duels, is what we want as well in the air. Pedro Neto, he obviously scored the hat-trick. We've got to speak about his goals. The first one was an absolute beauty, low, long-range drive, and that was like at the end of the first half when we could have got frustrated when we needed a goal, someone to step up and be like, this is silly. Stop all this nonsense. I'm a very good footballer. Bang. You got 2 key passes as well, which is pretty strong playing in that number 10 position. But it's almost like rather than being a playmaking number 10, which, a couple of key passes would have been good, are good. Maybe you want 1 or 2 more against Hull. But the fact how the guy dunked a hat trick, no criticisms can be made. It's almost like, maybe this is something we'll see a little bit more of. In the absence of Cole Palmer, maybe we see Pedro Neto in the number 10 instead of Enzo Fernandez, instead of Facundo Buonanotte. We hardly knew ye. He's like Pedro Neto. I know he's a diminutive winger. He's like a touchline winger. He likes to cut in. He likes to take his man on. Maybe Roseni is like, you know what? You could be a wicked number 10, mate. You could be like a little diminutive, I don't know, Portuguese Messi. I don't know. But it worked, bro. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see it, again. Obviously, against a team that's not Hull. So, who knows? Watch this space. Maybe Pedro Neto number 10 is the future. Liam Delap, again, huge credit to him. Hat-trick of assists. Just to talk about the other goals quickly for Neto. Of course, he scored from a corner. So, he lashed one in. It went in. Very nice. And he scored in the 71st minute, and it was very intelligent from Delap as well. The hold-up play from Delap for both Estevao goals and Estevao's goal, and for Pedro Neto, the way he was so intelligent. That's what I do, credit to all those different kinds of finishes from Pedro Neto. Excellent finish from Estevao. He just didn't mess about, basically. It was a cutback. You could have forgiven Liam Delap for just taking a shot there, thinking, I'm going to get a goal. This is my ex-team Hull. I haven't scored in ages. But no, he was a grown-up, and he was like, I've got a role here to facilitate these finishes. And Pedro Neto and Estevao did a really good cutback when he could have tried to take a shot near post. And what can only be described as a very, very mature performance from a still quite young striker in what is a very young team. And that's precisely what we need, this kind of mature performances from Liam. And maybe Joao Pedro will score more goals than him, but if we can get these kind of performances out of Delap, where he occupies defenders, where he uses his strength, where he, makes other players, basically, opens up space for other players, and, can act as like a bouncing board sometimes as well. Hugely positive, delighted for him. Garnacho saw a lot of the ball, had a couple of disappointing moments. I mean, Hato's got the lowest rating, Chelsea player rating, that I'm looking on SofaScore now. But Garnacho, just from watching the game live, you can tell he's just low on confidence. Classic, see loads of the ball, constantly running onto the ball and trying to find space, but his final action, hasn't been great in the same way as maybe Pedro Neto has been lately, and dare I say Delap has been lately, but they both took this opportunity to sort of remedy that poor form in this game, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm not sure Garnacho has done that just yet. But ultimately, he contributed to an important win, a 4-0 away win in the Cup to progress to the next round. And therefore, I'm delighted for him. So, let me know your thoughts. Sorry I'm not the sharpest I've been between the ears of late. But there we have it. Life is life. I'll sharpen up for tomorrow. We will do more Chelsea news content, as there is daily content, of course, here on this YouTube channel and podcast, Football Therapy Podcast, on your favourite platforms. Alright, mate. Look after yourselves. Enjoy the football.